Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is The Road to the Record. I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is F1 2019. It's episode number 10 of our Williams Road to Glory career mode. Now, as we head into Spielberg, into Austria, big news before we get started. First we have qualifying, then we have the race. We're at that point. We got max purple on every practice program, so that was good. Looking at the weather for the race, we are looking at slightly damp conditions about 3/4 of the way through the race potentially. So we will have mixed conditions. I don't know whether we'll need to push to intermediates or not. We've already accomplished our team goal with maximizing 5 programs there, so we'll get those 400 extra points, but we have another race to go. We just signed a new contract, and there's the terms. We remain at 1919, which makes sense with, Williams. In terms of performance, we have 852 points available. Last time out, we invested points to get up to the quality control level that I wanted to be at. We're there now. And so we're looking at 500 for a weight redistribution or reduction. Either way, we're kind of looking at the same thing. How about what's after that? Weight reduction on the bottom end. It's all the same. Let's take away the overall weight. Is there any difference between them? This one I think has a couple points more long term. So let's go ahead and take that. 15% chance. We'll take that risk. At least 352 points. Now, what I want to do next is, without any boosts of any kind, we will take one engine upgrade as our next thing, but we're still short on points by about 150. It's going to be a little bit. Now, we're going to take a brief moment to look at the cars, a little comparison, and go through the news before we get into qualifying. You can see we're still at the bottom. We're still some distance behind, and unfortunately for us, Toro Rosso and Renault, the bottom 2 cars, besides ourselves, they both came in this week with upgrades. That opens the gap up a little bit more, making it a little bit tougher. I mean, you look at their rating, they're right about 400, and we're right about 330. So we're still about 70 points below the next car on the grid, which is pretty much where we started the season. So we haven't made progress there yet. Of course, the quality control improvements, those were costly, but they'll help us long term, having to reinvest less often. But still, you can see the midfield, very, very tight. But who's at or near the bottom of the midfield? Renault. Who's at the top of the midfield right now? By the tiniest of margin? Racing Point. And that's where our news is. Lawrence Stroll, owner of Racing Point, is going to have his hands full with a big decision to make. Because his team principal decided that Lance Stroll was not doing well enough in the car. So Lawrence's son, Lance, driver for Racing Point, while Dad owns the team, has been fired from Racing Point. Bringing him up to Racing Point to replace Stroll is Nico Hülkenberg, coming over from Renault. Excellent driver who was supposed to be in the best of the rest car this year, but quickly found out that the Renault was not where it should have been in that regard. Quickly has jumped ship and is taking over Lance Stroll's seat. And no, it is not a straight swap. It is Giovinazzi, who lost his seat to Weber. Giovinazzi has taken over the seat at Renault. So our first driver transfer has taken place here in this series. And it's a doozy if you take into life the real considerations that put Lance Stroll into that Racing Point seat, guaranteeing him that seat regardless of how he drives. Because honestly, I did not care for his first couple of years in Formula One at all. He's getting better. He is getting better, but I'm still not a fan. And I'm still pretty hard on him. And I'm not surprised at all to see him be fired. Speaking of, let's take a brief look at the driver standings, and you can see why. So in the standings, best of the rest status goes to Sergio Perez in the Racing Point on 42 points. Nico Hülkenberg has 15 points, but of course that happened in a Renault. Lance Stroll, the one who just lost his seat, 4 points on the entire season. And a very brief look at the season results here. You can look with more detail, but I can tell you already that Stroll and Hülkenberg, direct comparison. Hülkenberg, who was in the slower car all season long, has beat Stroll in every single race this season, bar one. That one race in Azerbaijan was Hülkenberg's only DNF and also Stroll's only points-paying finish. And outside of that one race, Nico Hülkenberg's worst race of the season matches Stroll's best outside of Azerbaijan. Oh, just about, I guess. I guess there was 112th versus 113th. But he clearly beat him in every single race in a slower car. So the move makes perfect sense to me. But with that, we're going to get into our own race weekend. We are now Saturday afternoon for one-shot qualifying. And let's go ahead and move on into it. Now, in terms of lap time, this is the shortest circuit on the Formula One calendar. And to me, personally, it's the easiest one. It's the easiest one to drive. The weather's not nice, but it's not raining.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy what we hope will be a fantastic contest for pole position. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk, and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction, and over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong, and that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
So move into this one with a decent chance of getting off the back row. I say decent. Decent means there is a chance. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen. I have a new ICE in the car. It's my last free one of the season, and we're not even halfway in. We will pass halfway before I need to replace it, but I will be taking penalties as the season goes on. I have not made any reliability upgrades, and I will suffer for it here later on over the course of the season. But it might be cloudy, but it's dry. So we head into this one ready to go, and let's get out to track. Sector 1, I'm right about on pace. Turn 2 is a little challenging for me. Verstappen quickest through turn 1. We'll see if the Mercedes power. No, it's the Ferrari power that gets ahead now. This is my weakest corner on the track. I always have to brake a little bit early, and here in the Williams, it is so difficult to make that corner. You can see I'm still right there. Still right in it. I'm actually 11th right now, and this is my fastest part of the track right through here, Sector 2. There's that power as the Ferrari pulls away a little bit. Currently P14. Told you this was my best chance of getting off the back row. P12, I think.
We're very happy with that position.
Yes! Off the back row into the midfield.
With
That felt
qualifying
good.
finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3. Vettel, Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
Usual suspects, top 6. Hulkenberg, unlike Stroll, immediately gets himself into the top 10 in his first weekend in the Racing Point, but his teammate Perez is best of the rest, or at least for qualifying is. It's very, very tight. I mean, we're talking 108 to Hamilton. I'm less than a second behind him. That's still a gap. I mean, that's still a considerable gap, 0.8 of a second or 3/4 of a second behind. But as tight as it is, I'm ahead. Weber, slowest. Russell, 19th. I'm 12th. So I very much could be in this race. Now, the downside for me is I can run good, consistent, clean laps when I have space. I'm still not good after 3-4 years of this game. And not the craziest amount of time. I mean, there's people that spend far more time on this game than I have. I'm not a noob anymore, but I'm definitely not an advanced player yet. I admit that. Fully admit that. And one of the big faults that I have is I still don't run in traffic very well. Which means I'm as good as Vettel, right? Because he was terrible in traffic. Guy makes so many mistakes here in the later part of his career anyway, these last few years. No, I'm not as good as Vettel. Not even close. But it felt good to say that for a moment. Amazingly, the Toro Rossos, or supposed to be the next slowest cars, are both less than 5/100ths behind me in 13th and 14th. So that's a little challenging. But a qualifying of P12, maybe, just maybe. From that, I can give myself a good run to this race. I mean, the top 10 are all going to be locked in on used softs. I'm not. I've got to deal with that traffic issue first, though, don't I? If there's any one track that I can handle running in traffic, though, it's here. My last race in my F1 2018 career mode, also a Road to Glory with Williams, second season, Spielberg. Oh gosh, I was somewhere up around 6th or 7th on the final lap, and none other than Max Verstappen took me out, coming off a pass, and took me out, and I still managed to finish, 13, 14, but I was in the points, and not an easy accomplishment. For the moment, I do lead George Russell here in our second attempt at the rivalry. I still have not picked a second rival, as the car has not been competitive enough to challenge other teams. Here, Spielberg, looks like I'm pulling it off, and maybe we'll be able to do that for a change. Ooh, that's over 500 points. I think we can get that engine upgrade on the go. We're going to take a look before we head into the race.
Successful qualifying.
We should be in with a good chance in the race.
Yes, we can. The cost is 500. Big chance of failure, but with a good powertrain, you've got to at least occasionally invest more just to keep that advantage there. My F1 2018, I didn't upgrade the powertrain at all for ages. My chassis was the best on the grid by the end of the first season or early second season. My aero was up to middle of the grid, but my powertrain with 0 upgrades had fallen to last place. And suddenly everything else stopped mattering, and I went right back to struggling because we just didn't have enough power, no matter how well we did getting around turns. So I've got to make sure I at least maintain that power advantage to an extent. I'm not going to spend a lot on powertrain, but I do need to spend some. The aero, it's functional now, but I still want to get those next round of upgrades going. But I'll do one more chassis upgrade, may or may not do a reliability upgrade finally, and then we'll get back to aero.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg, and to a circuit that in one form or another has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship, except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of
That's
turn
right.
3.
Technically it's turn 3.
4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton, Pierre Gasly, and Leclerc, Perez, Magnussen, Raikkonen, and Nico Hülkenberg, Grosjean, the Professor, Devon Butler, and Albon, Giovinazzi, Sainz, Lando Norris, and George Russell. Weber and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Ricardo drops a few spots further down the order.
Yesterday we qualified above expectations. Let's go out there and put in a performance.
Now, looking at what we have here, I'm expecting that we're probably just going to have to race with a damp track. And that's going to be tricky. That's going to be tricky, understanding if we're going to stay with that or not. So I don't think I'm going to change the setup. I think I'm going to do my 10 laps on the soft. From there, we'll be able to decide whether we should be putting on intermediates or softs. Or do I really want to start with softs and then just pit whenever it's time to pit after we have decided? Oh, man. I don't know, fresh tires with grip might be a good thing. No change. Yeah, no change. 10 laps on the soft, 8 on the medium. And then we'll adjust accordingly if we need to. Now, I'm pretty good on fuel here. I'm really good on tire wear. That's why we're able to go 10 on these. But we'll see. My one big area, my one big weakness is running in traffic. Now, all through practice, I only spun once, and it was using a dry setup in the rain. I was on the wet tire, so I had the right tires on, but I had a dry setup. Got a little bit of oversteer, and none other than... Actually, it wasn't turn 3, it was turn 1. Turn 1. But turn 3 is definitely my weak point on the track. It's the one corner that I, along with this car, really struggle through. I've got to hit my braking point a little bit early. And even then, I still hit that corner with a little bit too much speed and then struggle through the turn. Struggle to get it turned in and out of the corner. But if I slow down any earlier, I lose a ton of time through the braking zone and end up super slow anyway. And while I can accelerate quickly out of the turn, I lose so much entering and through the apex of the turn that it makes that a strategy that's impossible to use. Meaning I still have to push it to go as deep as I can into that braking zone first, even though it's still braking early and still struggling through that turn. I've gotten it right. I've gotten it just right a few times through practice. I've gotten it close to right majority of the time. And then I've had a few times where that corner has really been a slow grind to get through and out. So hopefully I can keep that to maybe once in the race, maybe twice in the race. And if I can keep the race part clean, keep my wings intact, we could have a good race. And if it stays dry throughout or mostly dry, it should be good. That one little section around lap 10 where it's going to rain, get wet, we'll see. That could be a tricky part. But otherwise, I think I might be able to just hang on to a midfield type position, which will be a big change from where we've been. Looking forward to it. Hopefully we can make it happen. I feel confident that I do have the flashbacks at my disposal, but I hate to use them. I don't want to. So we'll see if I can keep away from those as much as possible. You know, maybe keep it down to just once or twice. Guaranteed it's going to come from contact with another car, especially as I'm running in the midfield and not all alone. And the times were really tight qualifying in practice. So I expect that the field isn't going to spread out as much as normal. And if it's compact, it means as long as we don't screw up, we're in traffic. Probably the entire race. With that, let's get ready. Let's go racing. We're in Austria, Österreich, for the Spielberg Austrian Grand Prix. Just a little bit of wheel spin, but a good start. Really gotta watch out here on turn 1. Oh, Magnussen really came across hard on me there, but up to P10. No apparent damage from that start. Oh, come on, Magnussen. Oh, come on, Magnussen. There we go. Wow, amazing. No damage.
Replacing if it takes too much damage.
I'm in P8. Oof, that was close. I haven't had a full run like this where I'm heavy. Catching back up to Perez ahead, but I'm already loving this. This is the first time I've been in the points on merit. Little oversteer there. Good save. Perez trying to make a move on Gasly. Gasly's struggling a little bit in the Red Bull, as he has had a tendency to do in real life. Magnussen's still close.
Okay, entering lap 3 now. DRS has been enabled.
Oh, no DRS for me. Guessing Magnussen probably got his. Though I did just open a little gap on him. There we go. Close enough to Gasly, as Perez did get around him. So I'm behind a Red Bull. This is amazing.
The energy store is getting warmer, reducing our overall capacity. The more charge you hold, the faster that capacity will drop.
Oof. It's twice I've hit that gravel. Losing a little downforce plus that full fuel load.
A small amount of time to the car behind. Keep pushing.
That opened a little gap there. It's really good through turn 1. Lift and coast. Come on, turn, turn, turn! Oh, oh, oh! Missed my braking zone. Yeah, that was fully my bad. And now you're showing damage to my wing? So I have damage to my wing. Oof. So Gasly brake checks me, even on the replay, and I dropped to P9. But I'll take that. That was a good move by Magnussen.
Okay, take it easy on the car. We can't sustain this level of damage.
Oh, just double shifted. My gearbox having problems? Oh, there's a nice big gap behind. I like that. Ooh, I like that. No pressure from behind for a little while. Gasly looking to go around Perez, so Magnussen sneaks up and he's got a look. He's going to get around Gasly here. Lift and coast again. Ow. Oof. Turn, 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 turn. Come on. Wow, I had 0 turning radius there, even though I got slowed down to almost a stop. It was just too close. There was no downforce at all. And no downforce here either. That's going to open the gap in front and behind. Take away that downforce issue, though, a little bit.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from some rain. I'll keep you updated as the conditions change. Our gap to the car in front is 1.8 seconds.
Raikkonen's in 10th. He's the one behind me. Still Gasly in P8. Catching back up to these guys. Unfortunate situation is that Raikkonen has also caught up to me. Ooh, that was bad shifting right there. Raikkonen's coming with a head of steam.
We're slowly gaining on the car in front. Try to keep this momentum.
Raikkonen blocked him off. I knew he wasn't quite up beside me. Actually helped open the gap. He had to back off, and look how much ground he lost. Gasly trying to get back around Magnussen. These guys battling for position has allowed me to get back up here. What's that downforce again? I don't like getting this close to these guys because I have a hard enough time making these corners as it is. You take away the downforce on a car that's light on downforce, and I really start to struggle. But I'm still in P9. I'm happy with that. Lap 7. Going into overtake mode. I'm gonna have a look here.
Some information on Hulkenberg. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Okay, here we go. Going for it.
You're in the top 10 now. Keep it up. We're leading our teammate by 6.7 seconds.
Lift and coast, lift and coast, lift and coast. Oh no! Raikkonen, it snuck up on us too. Oh, I can't turn, can't turn. Oh, I was not ready for Raikkonen to be there. I thought he was still further back. I thought he was still about half a second down. Oh, here comes the rain. It's starting to sprinkle. It is starting to sprinkle. I'm down to P10. Sainz was nowhere near in sight, so I could be on my way towards 1 point if this result holds. And I've got 4 cars right in front of me that pit stops go right. Something else I could turn it into anywhere from 0 to 4 positions. Yeah, big gap.
Push hard on the in-lap.
Are we? folks. Hitting buttons thinking. There goes that downforce again.
We're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment.
It's now Raikkonen in front of me, Magnussen in front of him, it's Gasly in front there, so that would be Perez at the front of the group.
Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach, and make sure you don't speed. Okay, the incident has been cleared. Let's get back up to racing speed.
Yellow flag, I don't know who that is, but... Alright, we enter from P10, we'll see how we do. That's a lot of cars all pitting together this lap. We're all the way down to the end.
Go, exit now. We're racing
Woo,
on the exit.
hello.
Go, go, go. That was our last stop.
Oh, come on, just behind Magnussen. Ooh, did it. Got ahead of Magnussen. Great exit from pit road. That's Gasly and Perez ahead of me. We all pit together. Lap 11. I'm on the mediums. I want to call them softs. They used to be the softs. A little off on the line there. There still seems to be enough grip, but the track is definitely getting a little more wet. Whoever had a problem here still hasn't quite been cleared. So I'm in P15 at the moment. Magnussen. DRS is off,
The car behind you has just fitted
or
the
have I
hard
just
tyres. Car behind.
gotten out of range? That braking's starting to take a little bit longer. Perez and Gasly battling ahead. Oh yeah. Okay, braking zones are now officially affected. It is taking longer to brake.
10 minutes left of this rain, then we think it's going to dry up.
Ooh,
10
10
minutes.
minutes.
The gap to the car ahead is 1.5 seconds. We're trailing our teammate by 2.9 seconds.
Teammate is among those that have not pit yet. There's a lot of traffic in front of me. I'm guessing we're catching up to some of those guys that haven't pit yet. Way wide there on turn 3. I did not brake earlier than normal. I braked at my normal time. You can see just how much further I need to start that braking. That was not late. That was normal braking right there. And again, same here. This part of the track anyway, turns 3 and 4, very, very wet. Perez, that's Russell. Russell hasn't even pit yet, and I'm now just behind him. These guys might be pitting this time. It's lap 13. Nobody's pitting. Wow.
turning situation is pretty touch and go right now. We think the slicks may still be quicker, but it's very close, and you're going to struggle to keep them in the temperature window. The inters are ready when you need them.
Oh! I touched Perez's wing. Let's get back out here. There we go. Ooh. Oh, oh, oh! Almost. That was not good. That was not good. That's 2 already. By the way, they didn't change my wing. There we go, switch back. Oh, come on, even with... I told you, the rain and heavy traffic was going to be an issue. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, that's not okay. I hate when flashbacks do that. They just start sending you wild. This car cannot brake in this weather anymore. And they don't seem to be braking earlier. Right? Okay, start from here. We can do this. We can do this. Lift and coast. Look at that. I mean, Russell's right up my inside. These guys. Awesome. I can't even make that turn at slow speed. How are these guys all able to do it? I'm so confused as to why they are all so much faster than I am right now. Whoops. My bad. See, I can't come out of that turn straight. No matter how I handle this, I'm stuck. I feel like we're on the wrong tire here. Lift and coast. Come on. Come on, Russell. Little switchback move on him. Wow, braking early, braking early! Can't turn! This track is a nightmare right now. How are these guys... How are we not stuck pitting? Okay. I'm having the hardest time right now, braking for every single corner. Oh, Perez pulls off. He's got a problem. Perez back on the track apparently. Whoa. Woo. Still spinning. There is no grip out here. Still sliding, still sliding, still sliding. Nope, okay. Almost made it through there. Hey, that was the longest stretch I've made since this rain got heavy. We really should be on intermediates right now. Oh, too late, too late, too late. Yeah, that was my bad. Sorry, I forgot braking much earlier. Oh, this is sad. To coast, braking early, braking early. There we go.
DRS has been disabled by the stewards. DRS will be offline.
I'm wondering if I should pit. These guys look like they're about to pit. They are pitting.
George is in the pits. George in the pits. Gap to car in front is 3.6 seconds.
So I'm into P7. I'm back right in between Gasly and Raikkonen again. I've got 3 laps to go, I guess thanks to the... thanks to have... Ooh, really? Come on. I should have pit. You're a bad team boss for leaving me out there but bringing in Russell when I'm the one struggling like crazy here. Big gap in front, big gap behind. In the points. Not getting the points the way I want to, though. I mean, this is... I've never seen so many flashbacks. But I finally have some clean air to work with now. So I can at least try to cruise through at this point. Those guys behind are going to be coming a lot faster now. So I really have to just stay out. Webber has gone up into 8th, ahead of Raikkonen.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
Webber's coming fast.
Okay, clear.
Somebody had a problem. Oh, there's a car stopped ahead? No. Never mind. That was the sign. Webber's getting closer. Final 2 laps. Okay, now I'm adapting.
Intermediate tires, it might be worth considering changing yours too.
Not now. It's only 1 lap after this. I love how you wait
Okay, gap ahead
2-3
is
laps after everybody else has
10.6
changed, though.
seconds. This is your final lap. Final lap of the race. Gap to teammate behind is 9.1 seconds.
Almost. Almost. There he goes. Oh, he took... Oh. Dang, Weber.
We advise moving to mix 2. Fuel to mix 2.
Oh, we're stuck. We're stuck. Oh! Oh, come on. And then on the exit, no grip. It was well through the turn at that point. Vettel. Vettel has won the race. Alright. Hey, P8 in the points for the first time in the Williams. Can't feel that good about it though because they're in the wet. Now, I gotta put that on the team boss. I should have been on intermediates. He waits until lap 17 to say something. I should have intentionally put on the intermediates. Ultimately, when I pit,
and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that.
Stayed out another lap and then put on intermediates. That would have been the smart thing to do.
If you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
But team principal, horrible
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit
race strategy to keep me out.
A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again.
But he did kick me out. And then I've got to try to do what I can with what I have to work with. Which then came down to really struggling just to stop going into turns. And then the exit out of turns a couple times. Once I got through that first couple laps where the grip was totally gone, figured out when to brake, how to exit.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects
that
the
made a world
drivers'
of difference.
championship. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I think it's got to be Lucas Weber. Time and time again, he proves
Yeah, from 19th to 7th.
Done, and that's exactly what he's done today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good result moves them further up the championship. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Look at that. Weber to Giovinazzi in 19th. Less than 10 seconds separating all of us. That was super compact. So 8th to 19th was crazy, crazy close. I only finished 4 seconds ahead of Russell. He gained a lot of time back. Oh, and that was their only stop. Those guys, that was their only stop of the race. Raikkonen stopped twice. But else, that was their one and only stop of the race. Oof. Alright, well, I score points for the very, very first time, and I get 4 of them. That moves me ahead of Butler, Albon, Russell, Giovinazzi, and level with Grosjean and Stroll, who's minus a seat now. So, into the points for the first time. Something to be proud of, but also, not really ready to celebrate after just how much of a struggle that drive was once the rain started falling, and I didn't really deserve the points that I got. But again, if my boss would have pulled me in right away, put me on the intermediates, it would have been a different race. It would have been a different matter. And then, you know, the what ifs from there. I would have been coming a lot faster than these other guys in those final 2, 3, 4 laps. Probably would have made up the ground I lost. I was in a good position. You know, I was running 7, 8, 9, 10 throughout most of the race, or 8, 9, 10 through most of the race. So to be in that position at the end of the race makes a certain amount of sense. Anyway, truth be told, I don't think I deserved the finish I got, but at the same time, I deserved better race management from my boss. And while that is controllable manually, you really got to be on top of it with the buttons and know those buttons and know which one to push to change the tire strategy while you're fighting a car with no grip in the rain on dry tires. That's a whole nother matter of being able to set that pit change up yourself. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. And remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.